Hi everybody, welcome to what probably will be the last Gotham Guide episode. At this point, you're strong enough to be watching this video on how to defeat master level chess players, and I gotta give some love to Twitch user Shmoney, who said that 2200, 2300, 2400 level players are like exchange sacrifices. They're good until they're not. And frankly, that's probably going to be the motto of this entire video. At this point, you've played enough of the openings, enough of the middle games, you've seen enough end games, back and forth fights, that you know that it's brutal out here, and some of these games will take 50-60 moves until you have a real answer to who's going to win. So first things first. Advanced Caro, bishop f5. It's what I play with black. It's what I recommend, actually, h4 in my e4 course. And then I play queen c8. And queen c8, the whole idea of queen c8 is to stop him from going g4. Now, there is some theory here. The idea of this move is actually to play g4 and to trap my bishop. So I'm going to play h5. This is kind of standard. The d5 square here is important. You play like knight d7, knight b6. Knight e7 as well. We'll see what happens. I like that I have a 30-second time advantage already. That kind of shows me that my opponent might be a little bit uncomfortable with this position. I don't even know if I'm necessarily playing all the best moves or the most challenging moves, but it's important to keep the pressure up. Don't bridge this time gap. Although, I have not followed my own advice throughout this course sometimes. I will tank in situations I do not need to spend that much time. Very common move to bring the bishop over here. I guess I can go knight e7 or bishop e7. I don't really want to spend like a huge amount of time. I'd rather play a move a little bit faster. So I think I'm going to go here. Normally you don't want to do this because d6 is very vulnerable. So for example, white can hop in here with the knight if you ever trade. But that's not possible right now. So I think I'm actually... Well, now we see the idea. If takes, then he has access to my the square there. So takes, knight e7, he can go to e4. Maybe takes, and then I play knight f5. Doesn't look entirely stupid, so I'm going to play it. Again. That is an idea. But I don't want to, I don't want to kill off my time advantage. Someone's driving a car outside, which is playing music so loud that it's shaking my wall. I don't know if that's heard, but my wall is not enjoying being shaken. Like literally, it's so loud it's shaking my wall. It's kind of fast. It's really fascinating being a New Yorker. Queen c7, and now maybe I have an idea to long castle or play rook d8, knight b6, and attack this pawn. Kind of the side effect of having a knight on f5 for white is that it's not just defensive, it's also aggressive. And this pawn is... what? He's just giving it to me? He's just giving me the pawn. I mean, I'll take it. Free pawn. He might think he has knight d6 here, but he doesn't because I can just take it. I could just take it, and if he takes my queen, I take his queen. So my opponent just gifted me the d4 pawn. However, it probably comes with some problems. Like that. The queen is now on the long diagonal, but can't I just play back to where I was? I mean, he's threatening knight d6, which is a relatively unpleasant move. Although, maybe I can just go a little insane here and take the second pawn. Can I take the second pawn? And if knight d6, can't I just play king d7, and the knight and the bishop are both hanging? So, this is... not for the faint of heart. I'm basically doing here what's called, I'm calling his bluff. Like, he can't actually play like this. I win both his pawns if he plays knight d6, king d7. And like was said in the chat, they're good until they're not. And this might be the moment where his tactics have failed him. So he does play this. King d7, so I am just threatening to pick up this knight. He cannot take this because this is hanging... His only hope is probably to create counterplay along the d-file, but even then I can just play a move like c5. My knight on d4 is protected. There it is. Wait, so queen d6? I don't understand. Queen d6? I don't... Queen d6, rook d4 takes? There is no rook d1? I don't see how rook d1 is ever going to work. So let me just take the knight. Did he just forget that I could take the knight? And I mean, of course, I'm completely fine with a queen trade. I'm up 2 pawns. So this would just be... And okay, he just resigns. He was like, oh, I didn't even see my knight was hanging. Okay. So here's an example of a guy that, like, you know, knew his opening a little bit. Kind of knew the ideas, you know, just developed some pieces. And then, like, the first few moves out of the opening against the more experienced Caro-kann player, you know, he went for something that looked very natural, knight d6. And I had to be just in time with my defense. I think g3 was not a good move. I'm not actually threatening to take this pawn because of knight d6. So I don't really know why he played g3. I mean, it's probably better for him to do something mildly more aggressive. For example, he can look at f3 and maybe even g4. Again, I can't move my knight, although I would be attacking his queen in that situation. But here, he probably just needs to start bringing the rooks and the queen to the game and waiting for me to castle. You know, if I castle, my pawn is a bit weak. I might have to go g6, weaken my dark squares, but, you know, here I played queen c7, delaying my castling for a moment and just going for this pawn. And the instructional value of this is that I control all the squares in front of the, you know, the square in front of the pawn. I shouldn't say all the squares. I control the square in front of the pawn. Yeah, I mean, calling their bluff, you know? Don't be afraid to take things. Don't be afraid to punish your opponent for blunders in the beginning of the game. Pretty interesting game, though. I wonder if, like, right here, he could have done something better. You know, he lost this, and then he lost this. But what if he had just stayed patient with a move like rook d1? Might have been a bit problematic. I mean, I would have had to probably play rook d8. And the queen on a3 prevents me from castling. So, actually, rook d8, he has queen a7. So maybe rook d1 was the way to go. Oh, but then the bishop on c4 might have been hanging. Mr. Strelets. We actually played this, gentleman. I'm going to go d4. I've been playing a lot of e4, but I'm going to go d4. And then play a Trompowsky. It's kind of one of my lost loves. d5. And h4. This is one of my favorite Trompowsky variations. It's called the Raptor. Queen b6 here is critical. Okay, first things first, let's see if my opponent hangs a piece. You know, he might be 2300, but it doesn't stop him from being... Well, not quite. But maybe if we give him one more try, maybe he'll play like... No, knight f6 doesn't actually lose a piece. Okay. e3. Space advantage in the center. There's a couple ways to proceed here. So you can play bishop d3. You can also just, like, try to play h5, but then he'll go g5. I'll play bishop d3. He's going to go back to f6. This is hanging now? Well, not really. I have, like, maybe some tricks. I guess I can just play, like, c4, for example. And then knight c3. I know I moved that pawn already 2 times, but we both have repeated moves with pieces. So, we have this very strange opening position. He comes to e5. Do I want to move my bishop, let him take, or take and mess up his structure? I think I'm going to go with taking and messing up his structure and playing knight e2. So now his bishop is just stuck behind the e5 pawn. And I think I might even consider h5. And if knight takes... Oh, man, I really want to sacrifice. Oh, man, but I want to be a good boy. You know, I don't want to sacrifice while the camera's rolling. What do I do? Okay, let's be a good boy. Let's just play queen b3 for now. So takes. We're just trying to maintain our central presence, not sacrifice any material just yet. And now maybe long castle. Very dynamic position here. He plays a6 because he wants to play b5. I'm going to play h5 finally. So the move that determines whether or not my position is good or bad, I suppose. If he takes, maybe now... Oh, he doesn't take. Oh, I don't like this, giving me f5. I know that b5 is coming, but I don't know, something doesn't sit quite right with me here. For example, what if I play bishop b1 and queen c2? And my idea is this long-term pressure. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see what happens. I'm also anticipating b4, knight e4 to trade that knight and potentially get in. It doesn't quite work because he can take, and then play f5. But if I play like knight g3 for c4, wow, that is, I did not expect that at all. Getting a suggestion in the chat to play this move. It's not a bad move per se. I'm just going to go knight g3. I mean, it makes sense for me to get my knight out. I know what he wants, okay? He wants to play b4, b3, and shred open my queen side. My king's wide open, my bishop's a bit passive. Or he just wants to hang mate in one. What? I mean, like, what? I don't think a single player in this entire guide hung mate in one. Straight up, I don't think it happened. I'm speechless. Like, we have a really, really complex middle game position. I mean, truly, this is a fascinating position. Like, you know, like a really good question is, who is even better here in this position? I don't know if I have an answer to who is better here. This is a perfect position which can be defined with unclear. And it's like, how do you look at that? Well, first of all, king safety. We're castled on opposite sides. I want to say his king is a bit weaker than mine, which became very prevalent after this. But even here, like, his king is a bit weaker, because, I mean, I have, like, a direct line of access, and he doesn't really. Material is obviously equal. I have, you know, pawn structure and active pieces. I want to say my pieces are a bit more active. You know, his bishop is kind of stuck. His knight's a little bit stuck. His light-scored bishop never made it off. Never made it off its home square. I also have a passed pawn. But if he plays like queen b6 and just invests fully in this attack, I don't know though. Like, I have knight f5. You know, I have d6, just pushing my passed pawn forward. And the idea of d6 is actually to play knight d5, which will dislodge the knight from a defensive h7. But, yeah, I mean, wow. They're good until they're not, huh? There you go. So far, this is proving to be one of the easier videos. But this is very common when you have one piece. Maybe he meant to play rook e8, you know? Like, maybe he meant rook e8 and I don't know, he was clicking his knight or something. But rook e8, I mean, it's the same problem. I'm going to go knight e4, I'm going to go d6, knight d5. Maybe even d6 and d7 is an idea, just so, like, he takes. But when you move your rook to e8 and then queen h7, king f8, there's no checkmate because the bishop covers this square. But, you know, the other thing is, like, if I get this position, this is still very nice for white, this position. This is still, like, this is great. Because his attack is way too slow. You know, b4, I can maybe, taking is too dangerous, but maybe d6. His attack just doesn't strike me as that quick here. You know, let's say he plays like bishop b7, I have check here, like knight f5 coming, you know, d6 coming to take away the escape square. So, I don't know. It was a very interesting game, honestly. Like, this double-edged, two-sided attack, bishop b1, queen c2. I'm curious, if I didn't play this bishop b1 plan, and I just played, like, knight g3. Oh, bishop f5 is another way. That's kind of nice, going for that square. Ah, Srivastapanda. So, we actually played this guy, I think, in the 2000-plus section. Let's play Caro-kann. That was a really instructive game. I think if you guys missed that game, you should go see it. Let's play knight f6. And let's play gf6. So this is called Bronstein-Larsen Caro-kann. It's not considered great, but it's still one of the main lines. It gets played a lot, knight d7, and you basically set up like this and try to castle queenside. He's playing h4 because I guess he wants to play h5, but what I don't understand is why would you go for this plan if I can just take on d3? Like, it kind of seems like you're wasting time, but Maybe he likes the fact that my pawn stays here, because in the other situation he would have done that. And okay, let's play e6. No, black is always a little bit worse in these structures, but that's kind of, you know, the point is to play different openings and see how to navigate different structures. Queen b3, I don't have a damn clue what that move wants. Honestly, I have no idea. So let's play rook g8. Before I couldn't move my rook, but he allowed me to do it, so. So bishop d6. Bishop d6, yeah. I don't like my h7 pawn. That's just the one kind of fundamental drawback of this entire system. But now f5 covers this diagonal. Man, all sorts of crazy stuff is happening. We're having 2300s hang mate in 1. And we're also having car alarms and all other nonsense go off in the background today. Knight f6. So the idea here is the d5 square. I know it doesn't look like it, but I know he's going to go here. And then he's going to go here because it's a very natural follow-up. But if I just move my queen away, he then gives me d5. So this structure allows me to get a really nice square on d5. Yeah, like I said. I think it's better to go to a5. There's no threat. Doesn't look like it. And if I just play queen on a6, position looks okay. Again, it's another move I don't understand at all. So let's go knight d5, as I said. I'm sort of starting to like optimize my position, you know, like every opening, every pawn structure, every piece placement that you get from the opening, there's always then like a best setup afterward. Okay, queen a6, attacking the knight. If the knight moves to c3, isn't he just losing the g3 pawn? I don't think he can move his knight. I think he has to play like rook e1. And we already start to see the struggles of his position. His structure is really weird. Like this move he played a long time ago, f3, I don't know what it did. And doesn't that move just lose a pawn? Unless I'm an idiot. Isn't this just rook takes g3? And maybe he thought takes and bishop f4 was guarding, but... Okay, so... I mean, we are just completely outplaying all of our opponents today, which is nice. It's good when you can do that. Rook d5? Rook d5 seems pretty natural. Pressure on d4. He attacks me. I can't take that because it's guarded. And I think his next move is going to be rook g1. He's going to try to get control of the file. Maybe I play rook d8, but if I play... What is that? I don't understand any of his moves. Like, none of them. Well, I guess rook d8 is natural? I mean, he wants queen e5, but he can't even play that move. Also, I'm lined up here, so can't I just take on c5? And if he takes, I take on d1? Bishop c5, if he comes in, I play bishop here. Rook takes, rook f7, and I'm just mating him? Yeah, what is he doing? This is so weird. I mean, another example, like the first game we played of a guy who like developed his pieces from the opening and then like didn't do anything well. I mean, all his play was so scattered. And that can come from a couple of things. That can come from inexperience, just in these kinds of positions, you know, like he has not played a lot of these positions with white, usually has other types of positions. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Okay, I have to give him credit, backing up and trying to go here. But if I take, and then he goes queen f4, and then I play like bishop e5, aren't I just winning? I do not see a way. Yeah, like, I know I need to be careful, but I mean, yeah, I don't see a way that this works. And now he's just down 3 pawns, and I'm also threatening to wreck his kingside. You might play rook d5 thinking rook d5, rook g8, but if he takes on d5, I just take on f4. So I couldn't take his rook. Yeah, so here I can take his queen, and his idea is that he's gonna take, but I can also take that, and then queen d3 is mate. So mate is better than winning a queen. Takes, king c2, and queen d3 is mate. Exceeding danger. The king is worth more than the queen, and we win. That was like a super smooth game. And it was the first Bronstein-Larsen that I played. Just developed my pieces like a normal person. Castled. You know, the second, and like I took advantage of basically every move that he played. So he played Queen B3, I played Rook G8. You know, he moved his queen away from this. I played Rook G8. He plays G3. And King B1, I'm just like trying to improve my position. F5 to bring my knight to D5. Here I anticipated his, you know, his plan. And this is probably the most instructive moment of the game. I always kind of like to pause on these moments. This is a moment of the game where you analyze, and then you have the evaluation spot. And that's where a lot of people struggle, evaluating the position. So I analyzed in my head, knight f6, c5, bishop e7, bishop f4. A lot of people would pause here and go, I don't like this. I don't like that he's attacking me. That's what they would say. They would say, you know, I don't like this. What I try to get my students to think about is not coming to these verbal conclusions. I don't like this. Like, that's not an evaluation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like this. Is this position good or bad for black? And if you just go like 1 or 2 moves deeper, queen a5, and like you're getting this, and bishop is coming, and it's actually a pretty nice position for black. Like, you absorb 2 moves that attack your pieces, but because he commits to this awkward c5 square and gives you this, position's just good for black. And that's it. So you need to be able to evaluate and go, this is good, or this is bad. And like, for example, when he played f3, I guess his idea was to not allow my knight to come. But when he did that, he softened up g3, and that's where I ended up breaking through. You know, so we see every move had a consequence kind of immediately. Here, instead of f3, I'm not really sure what he could do. Maybe knight c3, anticipating the knight coming to d5, but I'm still going to go knight d5. Trade, put my rook there. Bishop f6, rook d8. Like, my position just makes sense. It flows together really well. And he's got a very obvious pawn weakness. And we saw this pawn weakness a couple games ago as well, where in the Caro, we control the 2, you know, with the 2 pawns, the square in front of the d-pawn. We saw that in this game. In this structure. See? Same structure. Kind of the same structure. And this pawn ended up being a target, and we ended up winning it. So, you know, there is a degree of overlap in these Caro structures. You play an opening for a long enough time, motifs, different themes overlap, even though the variation might be potentially different. I do have to say that these guys have not been up to the level that I thought they would be up to. The 2100s were definitely the toughest challenge. Whether or not they were using computer assistance, frankly, is another story entirely, but I'm inclined to believe that that might have been the case, which is why it took several takes of video to get games. Okay, we have a rematch. Yeah, this is getting a little bit boring, but, you know, whatever. Okay, let's play a rematch. I think he played this against me last time, actually. Yeah, he played like e6, b6 or something. Ah, yeah. I remember. I remember now. I remember our game. He actually blundered very quickly in that game. Okay, I'm gonna go knight c3. This is not a very popular move. Queen e2. So I'm looking at potentially castling long, seeing what he's gonna do. Let me take. So he can't take with the e-pawn, obviously, because of the pin. Let me take. I mean, this isn't like theory of any sort. I'm just trying to develop pieces and get us into potentially unfamiliar territory. I quite like the strength of my bishop. Bishop a6. Something already strikes me as wrong with that move. So let me go c4. Let me try to punish him for playing lackadaisically in the opening. Wait, what is he doing? Like, he's already giving me some opportunity to get a really strong advantage. Knight e5 is very natural. Now, if he goes here, he just loses. Wait, he's just losing. He just What? What? Hello? What? What is going on? What is this? I mean, I'm like kind of speechless, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I don't know. This is pretty wild stuff. Okay, so first things first. Does c5 win on the spot? I actually think it does. This is why you always need to look at moves that create the max danger. Because if he takes us with the pawn or the queen, I take this guy, and then if he takes with the knight, if the queen is here, that's mate. If the pawn is there, I think like some queen b7 should just be game over. Queen b7 attacks the rook and also opens up knight f7. A lot of people would be fascinated with knight. Yeah, like I can just take on a6, I think, and it's just game over. A lot of people would have been fascinated with moving the queen, and yeah, I think here just queen b7 should win. Let me just double check. This is hanging, and this is hanging. He can't guard everything. And he hangs his queen. Unbelievable. I mean, truly, truly, truly unbelievable games right now. And he just resigns. I mean, this is... I don't know what to say. Like, are we in the 1000 plus section? Well, I mean, if anything, this should be reassuring for some of you that have, like, doubted your chess skills. Like, no, I'm seriously. The lessons of this game are just that if they play suspiciously in the opening, don't respect this play. You know, that's the difference. You see, like, the mentality here. The mentality is kind of like, well, you shouldn't be thinking, oh, bishop a6, oh, that's such a good move, man. I completely missed that move. Like, no, that's a stupid move. I'm gonna play c4, blocking his bishop, attacking his queen. He moves his queen back, I attack his queen again and develop a piece. Then this, boom, double attack. The game is already lost. He should have played queen e7. And even if queen e7, I have queen f3, he already has to play like an ugly move like c6. I mean, I don't know. Knight c6 I can probably even play. I didn't like the fact that he could pin me. And then there's all sorts of tactics. I take his queen, he takes my queen, but I don't even have to take his queen. That's the thing. I can play like, just develop in castle, and he's like very poorly positioned. All his pieces are bad. Wow. I did not think that the 2200 plus section would be this embarrassing. Okay, what can I say? 2250, here we go. I'd be really frustrated if we continuously get the exact same players though. Like, come on guys, we need new faces, new names. I don't want to beat this guy in like 10 moves again. I feel bad for taking his rating. Okay, here we go. Brand new player from Sweden. Hello, Mr. Swedish guy. E4, E5, Knight C3. Okay. Vienna. Oh no. Oh, this poor guy's gonna get Vienna gambited. Okay, but he's playing theory pretty quickly. Okay, so, oh, he kind of knows his stuff. Bishop b5. So now the move is here. dc3, queen h4, queen e4. Okay, it looks like he knows what he's doing. Looks like he knows what he's doing. He does not know what he's doing. Never mind. I've never seen bishop d7 before. Bishop d7 is an interesting move. Queen h4 is the move there. So what do I play if he plays a move I've never seen? First of all, can I play queen g3? It's a kind of a common idea. I mean, I'm also asking, should I be taking? I'm also looking at queen h4. Like, I want to play bishop f4. But if I play bishop f4, maybe he has some knight e5 trick? If I play queen g3, he does not have a knight e5 trick. Here, there might be this, though. Then I play knight f3. Then he can take on e5. Probably should not be spending this much time in the opening. Let me take. Gotta do something. I don't know if this is the right way to go, but I gotta do something. Now, I'm gonna play queen g3, which is sometimes a common idea, designed to put pressure on g7 and prevent him from moving. He plays like this. Now maybe, since I know he wants to castle queenside, bishop g5, he's just gonna go here. Okay, I'm gonna play knight f3. He's gonna castle queenside. That seems like his idea. And maybe bishop e3 with some fake pressure. I mean, I'm not really attacking that pawn. You know, he can always do this. But I like my bishop there because I felt like his bishop coming to c5 could be a bit inconvenient for me. His bishop is not very strong, which is nice. So even though I gave him the bishop pair, it's not the world's strongest bishop. And now I'm just going to castle short. I could have castled long as well, but I want to, you know, I want to keep the position a bit more dynamic. So now a4. This is my idea. Obviously, he should not be taking that pawn. There's a second idea behind this move. And it's the fact that I can actually take, and he sees that. I can take, and on b6, the idea is a5. He doesn't let me have fun. Should I go b4? Knight d4 is always a useful move as well in structures such as this one. Maybe b4, yeah. Let's just go directly in. I'm offering him the a4 pawn, but it's very risky to take it. Very risky. I mean, for a cost of a pawn, he just activates my rook, basically. I'm not sure he wants to get involved. Oh, that move I really don't like. Ooh, that move I really don't like. I mean, first of all, he's letting this move come with tempo, which just looks like trouble. Oh, man. Oh, man. Wait, rook f6? Wait, isn't this, like, huge trouble for black? There might even be a way to just, like, refute his whole idea here. Rook f6, queen e4. I mean, I don't know. Knight c6. Also b5 looks really nice. I mean, e6 looks really nice. What should I do? Should I trade, or should I just make his bishop really passive? Rook f6 looks good, but inviting this queen here looks a little bit... No, I found it. I know what I should do. I think I know what I should do. Knight c6, bc6, rook c6 looks good. But I actually think rook c6 is better. And when he takes, I take with my knight, and then I take his rook, and now the difference is his king has to be in the center of the board. That's the difference. Okay, now we need to win this position. First of all, I can take on a7. What if I just grab this pawn? I need to be careful about checks, but my bishop is coming back to d4. Yeah, so my bishop just returns to d4, and what if I just spend the remainder of the game pushing my a-pawn? I'm not even joking. Like, what if I just play, like, a5, a6? Like, how exactly is he going to stop me here? Maybe I could have... I probably should have played rook e1 and just defended this. But what exactly is stopping me from this plan? I don't understand. Like, once the... Yeah, so he takes, bishop takes, rook takes, a6. Yeah. What is stopping me? I don't get it. He just cannot stop me from pushing my a-pawn. Because again, he has no checks. That's really the problem, is my back rank is covered, everything is... all the checks are covered. Once a7 comes, the pawn is... he just resigns. I mean, we're just playing good chess today. That's it. Like, we get a Vienna gambit. We get a move we're not familiar with from the opening. So we just play logically. You know, the reason I knew this little sidestep queen g3 idea with knight f3 is just from experience. I've played hundreds of Vienna gambit games. Knight f3, bishop e3. And then here, I was like, well, opposite side castling, right? What do I know about opposite side castling? I want to start my own attack. He plays a really weird queen move, right? And then immediately we're coming in. The most complicated moment is right here. This is a moment where a lot of people can screw up because they see this and they're like, well, I'm up a pawn. You know, my king's kind of open. But here, first of all, there's d4, which I think just wins for black, which is a very difficult move to see far away. You know, it's one of these things like white can calculate like 4 moves ahead, get to this position and go, uh-oh, because black has this and then black just wins because he's just winning material. But sometimes this is called the other capture. Like, you can take the same piece just in a different way. Instead of taking on c6 with the knight, you start with the rook. And that works because you get this position. And did I have to take on a7? No, I mean, I could have played like bishop d4, rook e1. But I just realized that it's a free pawn, and my a-pawn just goes. And of course, the glue of the position is the bishop on d4. This is the guy that keeps everything together. And there is just no way for him to stop me. He can't even play queen c2 because I take his rook. But I can also just play a7. I can just ignore his rook entirely and go for another queen. Like, again, he can move his queen in closer, but I just play a7. Just because his queen is close to my king doesn't mean it's actually posing any danger. So, I mean, yeah, Vienna gambit. You an e4 player, you wanna change your life, get the e4 course. It's such a fun opening. Somebody asked, do you play the Vienna gambit against knight c6? You can, but it's no, that's not a Vienna gambit, that's just king's gambit. No, against this I usually go bishop c4. Alright. Somebody was saying, why not take on d5 here? This is probably possible, but I'm a little bit worried that, like, after queen e7... Hold on. Okay, well, let me play e4. I was a little bit worried that after queen e7, my king is just kind of stuck in the center. So right here, you know, if I play bishop d7, queen d5, that there's, like, this move. And you kind of start already to see the problems. If he long castles, his queen is lined up to my king, his rook becomes lined up to my queen. I just wasn't sure about this, and I wanted to kind of be a little bit more solid. Okay, we have another... Here we go, we've got another e4, e5, knight c3 game. Okay, he spent 15 seconds on a move. I always pre-move this in case they take. So d5 is the main line. Okay, he's 22:30 and 30 seconds of his time are gone in the first few moves. This is a very, very good sign. It's a very good sign. Takes. So far, so good. We have the exact same thing we had last time. Let's see if this guy goes knight c6. Bishop c5. Okay, what if I just take? Anytime I get faced with some random move I've never seen before, I'm always suspicious. In the sense that, not suspicious that they're cheating, suspicious like, can you actually play like this? Like, can you do that? Okay, bishop d3 threatens mate. Kind of like bishop d3. Kind of, it looks like it forces a passive move out of him. I also kind of like just c3 d4, which looks nice. Oh, c3 d4 looks really nice, actually. Like, what if I just play c3 and d4? Just get this huge center. Oops! He hung a piece. Bye-bye! Thank you! I had a feeling that was coming. And d4, and it's game over. Bishop takes g5. And it looks like now he is just on mega tilt. He is giving all his pieces away. The Vienna is a killer opening, I'm telling you. And he resigns. Beautiful game. Beautiful game. That's what I said, like, you know, I've never seen bishop c5, it just loses a pawn. And then here is like, you know, I played c3 with the intention of just getting the big center and then playing bishop d3, right? And I saw that his only way to attack my queen was f5, but he can't play that because there's this. And I mean, if he didn't do that, if he played like rook e8, I would have just played d4. And I would have just gotten a good position. Bishop c5 is not a move. You can't play bishop c5 against Vienna. Whoops. Right? Wow, this is pretty wild. I did not expect the games to be this easy. These have been the easiest games of the course thus far. Alright, DNK 67. Hopefully this guy gives me a little bit of a better challenge. I don't think I faced d4 yet. Okay, there's d4. Maybe I did. I don't remember. d4 e6. c4 b6. See, he's going to play e4, he's going to play knight c3, plays like this. What will he do? g3? Okay, g3 is good. This is chapter 5 or 6 of my new course. e6, b6 course for black. And here the critical approach for white is to play the move d5. He does not know the critical approach for white. He's not playing d5, but it looks like he's trying to play d5. So we need to respect the fact that he's at least trying to play d5. This double fianchetto setup is very interesting. So I know that d5 is coming. Queen e7 is a move. You can anticipate the move arriving d5, but you don't really need to. I mean, if I play knight e4 here, can I do that? Or is there some tricks? Let's think about this for a second. Queen c8 is a move. d6, knight g5. I can take on g2. He can take on e6. I'll play like queen e7. That should actually be... Well, his knight is coming here. So maybe I'm going to play... I'll play h6. I want to control the g5 square. That's my idea. I'm assuming he's just going to... It's very difficult to predict his moves, this guy. I mean, he's just playing very quickly. So I should probably react accordingly and also play very quickly. So let's play d6. Again, my idea is to meet d5 with e5 now, closing the center. You might also go for c5. Then the whole nature of the position changes. What? Okay. Against this, I like a5 very simply. And so he pushes. Maybe his bishop will come here in the future. I need to start fighting back, I think. So let me play knight e4. Of course, if knight takes, my bishop is coming. He might, like I said, he might play knight d2, or he might just continue to blitz moves and continue to confuse me. Let's take on c3, and then let's play knight d7. So we've got a very, very solid and interesting pawn structure. He continues to play at light speed for reasons I don't fully comprehend. So when your opponents play this fast, I mean, at some point you do have to start playing faster yourself. It's just what happens. Can I hit him with this? I feel like this move might make him think, but there's kind of no need to do that. Knight f6, coming to e4. Closing the center is not necessarily bad for a double fianchetto, because I have f5, so I can start an attack on the king side, maybe. Bishop e4 is a very interesting move. Knight e4 is interesting. Okay, let's go bishop e4, attacking his queen. Also now, you know, this knight is going to have difficulty moving because I will always be taking the bishop. I think what I have to do here is I need to start a kingside attack. That's what I need to do. I need to just figure out how I'm going to do that. What if I play queen c8? Queen c8 is a little bit... Rook c8. His time, like how fast he's playing, is making me... It's making me hesitate. So far, this is kind of the most even game that we've had today. Right. I mean, I obviously saw that this was an idea. Knight d5 takes, rook c6. What'll end up happening is that he's going to play so quickly. You know, if he continues this pace of the game, he will make me make a mistake. Because I'll be so focused on playing defensively. In fact, already takes, and I think rook c6 is a strong move. And he finds it. He finds this idea. I don't really have a convenient way to guard this pawn. Damn. I was thinking knight b4 here, actually. It was my idea, but he has rook b6. Okay, let me play knight b4 anyway. That might have been a blunder. Oh, wait. Was it a blunder? Or is, like, all hell gonna break loose now? So, he has this, but then I take, but then he can take, but then I can take. I don't know. It wasn't a blunder. Yeah. So, I think all hell might be breaking loose right now. Oh, bishop d6. I missed that move. Wait a second. Rook d8, bishop here. Bishop e5? I'm gonna end up... Wait, no, it's like not so easy. If queen h6, there's queen d1. If bishop h6, there's rook d4. This is crazy. What is happening in this game? What? Okay, so I can play. I can't play rook f8, but I do have this. I also have bishop d4. Bishop d4, queen h6, rook f8. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, let's just do this. He's gonna go here, and then I can go back. I have no idea what's happening in this game. I really don't like my time. Okay, queen e8. What am I down? A pawn. I'm down a pawn. Queen trade, though. Maybe. He does not want a queen trade. Imagine that. Okay, I really don't know what to move, guys. I don't know what to move. I think I'm gonna play rook c8. I have to offer him a trade of rooks. And then I just gotta go for it. I've got 2 passed pawns, dude. I just gotta go for it. Just gotta... What is this? Is there any threat to that move? This is like the perfect position to screw up in time trouble. It's a horrible position to be playing with no time on your clock. But somehow I don't see the auto win for him, you know? That's always what you're looking for. Like, does he have a forced win? Does he have something? Queen d8, looking for a queen trade? I lost a pawn here. I lost a pawn, but I'm just investing in my A and B pawns, which I think will actually lead me to the promised land. Whatever the promised land is. Oh, I can't even take like this. That was actually my whole plan. I can't even do that. It's kind of embarrassing when you can't even play the entire thing that you were trying to play. But the good thing about being in time trouble is that he's also got to make moves really fast. That actually is a good thing about being in time trouble. Is that he also has to play very quickly. So ultimately, somebody will be doing something stupid very soon. Now he's down to 40 seconds. He plays d6. I'm just going to go queen d7 and then try to win this pawn. And those pawns are looking nice. A and B. He should really be like doing something with the h-pawn. That would have made things very stressful. Queen h7, moving his h-pawn. But now that his queen escaped, ooh, down to 20 seconds. Down to 20 seconds. What is this? Queen e7. That was a blunder. That was not smart. I shouldn't have done that. But it's okay. As I said, full investment in my pawns. And now that this guy is guarded, I'm going to go a3 next. He's threatening a check. Ah, go, 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 go. Don't lose on time, dude. Don't lose on time. Bishop e4. Is he mating me? I don't think so. a2. I don't see a mate. If I don't see a mate, I'm going to go for it. Queen h7, king f8. I'm safe. Somehow I'm safe. I don't know how I'm safe, but I'm safe. Can I promote? This is nuts. Can I actually promote here? He doesn't have a mate. Oh my gosh, I'm up a rook. How did this happen? How am I up a rook now? I don't even know what to do with my new wealth of material. I think this is over. This is just lost. For him, not for me. Check. I don't know. Another check. Oh, this is kind of silly. Oh, man. Sometimes when you get a winning position after being lost for a while, you end up losing anyway because you just do something stupid. Let's hope that does not happen here. Okay, running my king away. Running my king away. Queen d7, and I think I'm safe! No checks. Rook c3? Wait, and I can make a new queen, because I have a b-pawn! Amazing. Wow, that is a creative move. Oh my god, this is a very stressful game. Yes! Oh, what a game to end on. Oh my god. That game was absolute. That was the kind of a game I thought we were going to get today, man. Oh my gosh, that was stressful. Dude, like, that's what I thought, you know, we were going to have to deal with today. And that is not what we've had to deal with today. Crazy. Like, this guy played well in the opening, man. It was a stressful opening. Probably could have played, I mean, I definitely could have played it better. I don't know what I did wrong. You know, he just kind of developed his pieces here. I think we were fine. I mean, I think the position was actually completely okay for us. But here I did something silly. Here, yeah, I didn't figure out the best configuration with my queen. And even here, I shouldn't play knight d5. I allowed this. Wait, no. Knight b4 is still fine for black. Oh, but here I should just take on b4. I shouldn't be an idiot and go for this. Here I'm definitely losing. I'm for sure losing by force. he just shouldn't take my rook. It looked like the natural follow-up, but he forgot that after this, it's completely unclear. And, you know, it looks like he's supposed to be winning, and I find the best move, queen e8. I have to trade his queen. I have to trade his queen. And then he does this, and I try to trade his rook. I just... Oh. Amazing. I should have just pushed my a-pawn, not my b-pawn. What a game. What a game. But for sure he was winning. Even here I know he was winning. You know, even here he's winning. Oh, he's not winning anymore. He's not winning anymore. Here it's a draw, actually. Here he should have just repeated moves, but maybe I can play like bishop f6. Oh, but then he can play rook d1, and I can't promote because then I'm pinned. Oh, that's so funny. So rook d1, I queened, and even here it should be a draw, apparently. But then I found a way to just take the e-pawn, and, well, this was a bad decision. I should have just played like queen f7. There's no need to give him a check. No need to give him a check. What a complex fight, though. It's a nice way to end off the guide. Like a super, super complicated fight. I mean, this just goes to show you, regardless of where you are as a player, you know, sometimes things are easy if you know the openings well. Sometimes they're difficult, even if you know the openings well, because your opponent is going to be a good player, very much up to the task. But, yeah. On that note, I think Gotham Guide concludes, so if you enjoyed, you made it this far, like the video, please drop a comment, let me know what you think, and, well, share this with somebody if you think that they will benefit from taking a look at these games.